Dude, breaking news. Go.
95.7 The Game. Breaking news.
After saying that Brandon Aiyuk had been cleared to play by doctors and that the hope is that he would be at practice today, the wide receiver, number 11, is not at practice for the San Francisco 49ers, a practice that now has started just moments ago. We'll obviously leave open for the possibility that Brandon wants to make some sort of a grand late entrance.
Well, it's possible.
And he is, if playing, working on the side. So again, I'll leave open for that, but I know everyone's been waiting for the word. Is Brandon going to practice? That was called earlier today. The understanding that the wide receiver and the team had with one another, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch both just spoke, both indicating that they hoped he would be out there, that was the expectation. They said he's been cleared to play. That opens him up to be fined. If he's not there, the reporters have arrived. The practice has begun. Brandon is not there.
Yeah, and it's shocking, but not really. And I'm looking at Matt Barrows, friend of the program, and he has video, and his tweet is not seen at the start of practice, Brandon Aiyuk, and you see all the fellas, red jerseys, white jerseys. I see Kittle, and they're all running into the middle of the field to do their stretching and their pre-practice routine. And so if Brandon Aiyuk is just, I don't know, stuck in traffic, that Tasman, that Great America Parkway can be a little bit of a problem now.
In the late afternoon on a weekday.
You never know. 237 can rear its ugly head. But yes, no Brandon Aiyuk at practice. And this is, to me, just a gigantic disappointment after everything that we continue to go through.
I tell you what. This is a hell of a move by Aiyuk. It really is. I think that at every opportunity he's had to show how dug in he is, he's shown it. But I would argue it's arrived at a point where it is now harmful, self-inflicted harm by Brandon Aiyuk.
And harm to the team, I think, because, we had the coach and the general manager. They spent their time today to get everyone, ready for week one practice, which starts 9 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. The whole week one flow, the buildup, it's here. And yet they had to answer all these questions again about Brandon. And yes, Trent, but Trent, I think, is more of a veteran situation where he's going to come in. And I'm kind of with you. I am more worried than I was previously, but I do think it gets done in time for him to be a Niner. Maybe it's not week one. I hope it's week one, but this Aiyuk thing, it just doesn't ever seem to get closer to a resolution.
No, and our friend David Lombardi sent out, I think, what's a good sort of summary, and they were walking out to the field. He had some nice dramatic flair to this tweet where he's like, all right, here are the stakes. If Aiyuk participates, then the hold-in is over. He's in line to play on the fifth-year option, and negotiations can continue. If he's not participating, status quo remains, but the 49ers have now rhetorically dug into their leverage, and Aiyuk is under contract and expected to practice. And then he writes, we're heading out to the field now.
Yeah.
And they arrived, and he's not there. And I agree with him. The fact that Brandon's not there, if the 49ers do start the process, and I believe they will, of fining Brandon Aiyuk for not being at practice, the Niners are digging into the leverage that I've been trying to tell people they have all along. And that's what I really think right now the argument needs to get turned toward the agent. I just don't understand how you can advise your guy to do this. This is a zero-win situation.
Well, I think that there was a lot of wins he had along the way that he could have capitalized on, and he created leverage based on wanting to be traded, and then he had the Niners doing his bidding, and they had trades in place and all the rest of it. But when you say no to a trade with New England, and then you don't really engage in a trade with Pittsburgh that may or may not have been done, I don't know how that one played out, but that's when you start to give up the leverage, and you get to a point today where, okay, it's time to go out there and play ball. The team is kind of fed up. And the other thing from John Lynch, Mark, that I thought was really interesting, and I didn't know it, Brandon Aiyuk's agent is somebody that John Lynch knows very well, and he's actually worked with throughout the course of many years.
This story came up a few weeks ago when people started going, it's the same agent. Brandon's agent is John Lynch's agent. And John's like, not really.
Not anymore.
He's like, you know who my agent is? Me.
Well, the last 2 deals, he dealt directly with Jay.
But he said Ryan Williams, who's Brandon's agent, used to be his marketing agent, and that there is still a friendship there. But then he kind of blew it off because he's like, I got a lot of friends who are agents in the NFL. Whoop.
Totally.
Yeah, he's the general manager of the Niners, for crying out loud. But yeah, here we go. Plot thickens. And the 49ers are not messing around anymore. You can hear it. Like, look what we've noticed today. John sounds exasperated. Kyle sounds exasperated. Look at the word choice. These two do this for a living. What words did they choose with Trent Williams? Well, optimistic. Both sides want to get a deal done.
Leader.
What words did they use with Brandon Aiyuk? Dude, at some point, you got to play. Is this driving you crazy? Yes. And we're excited to get Terrace Marshall in here because here is an amazing place for wide receivers where they play at their absolute best. This is as clear as day. Niners are done, and you know what? I'm proud of the Niners for playing this the way they are. It was long past time to be done. That's why I was where I was on Monday. You get to this week, I'm sorry. Like, we have bent over backwards to create an option for you that you like. You've said no to everything, so we're done here. Brandon, there's the field. Join us when you're ready.
Yeah, 3:10 was when practice started, and so far, 14 minutes in, I haven't seen any follow-up tweets where, he broke a shoelace, and so it just took him a little bit of time, but he's out there now. He's not out there now, and I do think that the 49ers have gotten to that point, Mark, where, and I talked about this weeks ago, you get into game week, and I thought it might be by the time we got to the weekend, but they're starting today with their preparation for the opener against the Jets. 12 days till the opener. And so you're Kyle Shanahan, and you just want to go forward with the guys you have who are going to help you win the first game because it's here.
Let's go to Idris in Hayward. Hi, Idris. Thanks for calling. What's up?
So how's it going, fellas? You guys are doing a great job. You know what? Way back when, me and my friends were talking like, Brandon Aiyuk, he's cool. But, the truth of the matter is the Niners would we throw the ball the least. And the truth of the matter is, as much as y'all think we need him to go to the Super Bowl, I don't agree with that. I believe, you give us a few, 4 to 5 games, we will figure it out. And Brandon Aiyuk is going to play himself. He didn't want to go to the Patriots. He didn't want to go to the Steelers. And now it's at the point where I think the Niners are like, do we even want to keep this around us anymore? So, yeah. Brandon played himself. I love the guy, but he played himself. We will be just fine. That's all I got.
Idris, thank you very much. I mean, look, that's where the leverage now goes next. I brought this up yesterday, the Emmitt Smith thing from 1,000 years ago. Where this goes next, provided that there isn't a deal in the next 12 days and Brandon Aiyuk is not playing on Monday night, September 9th, where this goes next is now this negotiation relies on how the 49ers play.
It can, yeah.
If the Niners go out there and go 3-0, Brandon is hosed. Dude, you're hosed. If Brock Purdy is throwing for 280 yards a game and the Niners are 3-0 without you, dude,
you have less than zero leverage. Yeah,
dusted yourself. And that is not a risk, if I were Brandon, that I would be willing to take. You're trusting that the Niners against the Jets, Vikings, and who do we have week 3? What's week 3 for the 49ers? And I'm just making up 3, whatever. Jets, Vikings, and who?
The Rams.
The Rams. All right.
On the road.
You're going to go out there now and watch those. And again, you can call it 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, whatever. You're going to go out there, and if you're Brandon, you are only gaining leverage. If call it even 5, go the first 5 games. You need the Niners to be 2-3 or worse. For them to freak out, the pass game needs to just crater. It needs to not look good. And I got message for Brandon. It's not going to not look good. It might not be perfect, but if Trent Williams shows up and is playing left tackle, Brock Purdy is Brock Purdy, and there's Christian and Debo and George, and if you want to put in Juwan and whatever, there is enough. There's enough that they're still going to win most of the games. I don't see where Brandon's going to find the leverage he's looking for at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if it's leverage or, whatever it is, but, I would have thought that he would at least show up today. The reports from Mike Garafolo where he's going to show up to practice, and so that might be good news for Niner fans. And so far, at practice, he's not shown up, and, it seems like the Niners are more willing to start the fine process and move forward without him. And, if you're finally going to draw that line in the sand and you're doing it 12 days before the opener, then so be it. I thought they should have done this a long, long time ago, but they didn't. They played it a certain way. And at some point, this, and we've made the parenting analogy a lot, you get to a certain point where enough's enough and that's it. And we're going to have to deal with the fallout from there.
Boy, this guy's got one set of you-know-whats.
Cojones.
This is unreal.